New year brings new hopes and headlines in the housing market. 2024 closed with a bit of unusual momentum. Realtor, broker, guru for daybreak, Dan Brown is here with our snapshot both of the year that was and where we're heading in the real estate rundown. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Scott. I'll have to add guru to my byline. Yeah.
No, don't change the card though. It's too expensive to do that. December, sort of surprised a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a little uptick at the end of the year. Usually December is a month rather, that people, focusing on the holidays and slowing down. And of course, we had some weather issues. But the market had a nice surprising little upswing, and prices actually rose. Inventory went down, the number of homes that we had to sell, because people sometimes pull their houses off the market and they don't put houses on the market until spring if they're waiting that late in the year. But overall, it was a surprisingly healthy December, and I think that cues up a very strong 2025 that we're looking at. Yeah.
You know well that people try to sort of shoot that bullseye with interest rates. It's always interesting when it's truly like a roller coaster. It ends up in the same place, but there's some ups and downs.
It is. Interest rates actually ticked up again here in January. They're still moving back up. The thing about interest rates, and they've been driving this market, and especially the whole concept of affordability for the now well into 2.5 years.
Right.
This year, they tended to hang, they stabilized. We were really riding a roller coaster with them for about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. This year, they've been in the high sixes. They've sometimes jump over 7, sometimes jump down, but they've found their medium. And even though that's a lot higher than what most people, especially younger people, are used to, because the last 7 or 8 years we had artificially low rates, that's about normal. So I think we're finding our ground. And if we look back over 2024, as a summary, I think the one thing we did was we stabilized. Central Indiana is blessed to have a very stable real estate market. We don't do the normal cyclical ups and downs like some of the coastal cities. And that brings some relief to home buyers as they adjust to this new reality, and also still protects the equity position and the property values of people selling.
Talk a bit more about inventory and how that drives sort of like the motivation. Do you expect an increase to continue? Because if there's nothing out there to buy,
right,
it's great if you're a seller because you can print money.
It helps keep the prices up, and it certainly has done that. We've had a systematic housing shortage in this nation for the last 10 years. And that's not going to go away. In Central Indiana, where we focus, we've seen some relief there. The inventory right now, there's about 5,000 homes on the market in Central Indiana, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's twice as much as we had this time 2 years ago. It's about half as much as we'd like to see. Builders have been busy. New construction and new home builders have been out there really going after it in the second half of this year, with building permits being up. And as people adjust, remember, people who buy houses also sell houses unless they're not renting. So a lot of hesitation has been, hey, I'm waiting for those rates to come down before I put my house on the market. Now that people are understanding that that's not probably going to happen dramatically in the coming months or even years, I think more people are going to acclimate to that market. They're going to bring their house to market, and I think that's where some of that relief is, because as they look for that new house, they sell the house they're in, and that brings that cycle around again for us.
And contributes to that calm. That instead of buying and selling with this rush of blood of like, interest rates did this, right, it's more like, okay, here's where we live.
We had a statistic not long ago where it was 40% of the mortgages in our market were under 4%. Well, that's a big leap to go from 3.5 to 6.5. But as time goes on, life compels us to look for new homes. We move, we get a new job, we have a new baby. That one's for you, Hannah. And those things happen. So it drives us to find a way to make that purchase happen. And I think right now that's becoming a little bit easier.
I'm going to sit on that 2.5 as long as I can. Dan, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
See you again soon.